How to start your Monday morning. Start the fire, boil the water, grind the coffee, add filter, coffee in the filter, water into filter, watch it drip, more water, watch it drip some more, fill your cup, raise your cup, and no. Leave the house and leave it up to the professionals to make the coffee. I'll stick to the conversations. Welcome to Caffeinated Conversations with Brooke Allen. Hey, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. Of course, this is Caffeinated Conversations. This is show 86. We are slowly edging our way to 100. I'm so excited. We should plan a big party for that. We do have actually a big party plan coming up. We'll talk more about that later. But first, today is national. Well, actually, we'll get to that too. But I hope you're having an amazing summer. I finally took my twins on vacation. They wanted to go out of the country, so I took them to Canada. Right? A hard drive, right? So I was like, okay, you want to go out of the country? We're going to Canada. So it was so much fun. A couple of fun facts about that trip. We had to go to Tim Hortons because obviously Tim Hortons originated there, but that wasn't why they wanted to go. They wanted to go because they love How I Met Your Mother. And Robin, one of the characters, is from Canada. And so they were like, well, they're always talking about Tim Hortons. We have to go to Tim Hortons. So we go to this Tim Hortons, and they were so impressed that the actual cups had a maple leaf on it. And I'm like, I think the ones in Michigan have the maple leaf, but they were just like, oh, and people were speaking French, and they just thought it was so cool. And the thing that I freaked out about for a minute was the speed limit, because all of a sudden on my car, it says 100 or 110. Of course, it's kilometers, right? And they're like, slow down. Why are we going so fast? It was really crazy. So that was our adventure last week. We went to the falls. Carson and I did one of the boat rides. He said it was amazing. Daisy, she refused. She stayed on the dock. And I was going to do that zip line. I don't know if the zip line right over the falls, because I love stuff like that. But they were like, please don't die on us. Please don't die on us. How are we going to get home? So I guess I'll have to do that when I'm on my own by myself there, right? Because I was like, please let me just go. So that was our trip to Niagara Falls. So here's the deal. I love fun facts. And usually I look at that national calendar about what day it is, okay? And I'm going to let you talk because there's a very special day for you guys at the Detroit Zoo. But for me, there's a couple different ones. So today is actually National Tape Measure Day. That's exciting, right? But this one is the one I like. It is also National Break Free from the Big Three Day. Okay, so what do you think the big three are? This was created back in 2021, and I can tell you that this was actually based on a survey conducted in 2021 that found 82% of Americans are looking to drop a bad habit, a bad relationship, or a mobile provider. Random, right? T-Mobile did not sponsor this, by the way. So I am going to ask you out there watching, what is one bad habit that you would drop today if you were so inclined? And then you guys all get ready because I'm going to ask you the same thing. So start thinking about it. Okay. All right. So we have our guest today, and I'm super excited. We've got Bill Tocco here. He is the founder of War on Sugar Protein Bars. Hi, Bill. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
And then we've got Emily O'Hara. She is the Senior Director of Guest Experience at the Detroit Zoo, one of our favorite hangouts, when we're not in another country, by the way.
Yeah.
And then Kimberly Sloan, you are the founder of EyeCandy Productions,
Yes.
Which I love. You have these roaming selfie stations. You do these cookies. I mean, you do all of these experiences.
Yes.
Which are so fun and add to so many events, right? And you added to our After Dark event back at the Imagine. It was so much fun because you know what? I am convinced that even if you have two people show up to an event and you have a selfie station, you are just fine because people love that, right? So it adds so much. So thank you all for being here.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. And so Emily, I'm going to start with you because, National Tape Measure Day, National Break Free from 3 today. What is happening at the Detroit Zoo? What day is it?
So it is also World Chimpanzee Day today.
I love that.
We're celebrating, and we actually celebrated a little early this year. On July 4th, a new chimpanzee was born to the troop who lives at the zoo. And so we're also celebrating her birth as well.
See? It's so exciting.
Yes.
And I get so much flack for people, why do you talk about those national days. I'm like, I don't know. I just love them.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Nice.
So okay. So Bill, you are you have an interesting background because you are the founder of these War on Sugar protein bars, but you are a former professional skateboarder.
Yes, I am.
That is so crazy. I lived in California for years and never met a professional skateboarder.
Oh wow, there's a lot of them out there. So maybe not as many as there was. There wasn't as many back then as there is now, of course. But yeah, I started skateboarding when I was about 7 years old. So
Okay.
long time ago. So it's been
a
a
journey.
while. Yeah, yeah, it's been a journey.
What made you what made you go into skateboarding?
Well, actually, so my parents owned a restaurant up by Ypsilanti, Michigan, near Ann Arbor, and a lot of the bus boys skateboarded. And one day I was saying, let me try that. So they were like, you've never done this before? And I said, no. They said, wow, you're kind of natural at it. So they kind of stopped doing it, and I continued, and I just never put the skateboard down. So
Really?
yeah, it's been a huge part of my life since I was 7 years old, yeah.
That is so cool. And the whole idea when I was reading about you last night, I do this too. I research everyone at like 3 a.m. on Sunday night, right? It's like talk about like preparation. But you were out in California too, right?
Yes, I was, yeah.
Okay, so out in California.
Yep. Hermosa Beach is where I live, so it was a suburb of Los Angeles,
Yes. I was a traffic reporter out there.
Oh, I didn't know
maybe
that.
I was flying above you. I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah, I used to watch the news quite a bit. So.
I'll see.
Yeah.
So you went from skateboarding. You got injured.
Yes, I did. Yes, I had a bad knee injury, so I tore a lot of ligaments in my knees. Now, compared to now, the technology is so much better. Like we're just repairing, say, just an ACL. I had more than just an ACL going on, but it's so much more routine and common now than it was back then. So
and the recovery's faster now.
Oh, the recovery is much faster. Yeah, much faster. So it was a lot more difficult. I didn't actually have surgery back then. I opted to do just rehabilitation.
Oh.
So they said, you can be rehabilitating for maybe close to a year, and then at that point, you might still have to get surgery. So that's where I started to kind of start my fitness journey, because while I was rehabbing, one of my sponsors happened to be Gold's Gym Venice.
Nice.
So which is everybody knows about Gold's Gym Venice. It's like a very famous place for bodybuilding, nutrition, and they had a couple really good on-staff nutritionists. So I would pick their brains. I was in there rehabbing, and I started to really, really get into like the nutrition end first, and then I started getting more into the training, and I picked up personal training, which I still do now to this day. But the nutrition is like I was really excited about it, because as I started to learn about it, it was just interesting to be able to, do something, a tweak in your diet, and then see a change in your body. And I thought that was just almost like art. So you're making a sculpture and you want a little bit more deltoid here or whatever. I mean, people have talked about that in the past, because Arnold Schwarzenegger has brought that up. It is like art, but I really kind of like, it just got me. It kind of just took a hold of me, and it is an art form when you start to work with different people and you have to figure out their biology and their metabolisms, because everybody's different. I mean, I've worked with people that on one hand can tolerate certain foods, they can't tolerate others. You pull certain carbohydrates from people and their metabolism slows down. So everybody's so different. So there's so many different facets, and that, I think, what drew me in, because it was so technical and it was way different than what I ever imagined it was.
And you became a bodybuilder.
Yes, I
We
was.
couldn't tell, really.
Yeah, yeah, thanks. Yeah, I got into when I hurt my knee. I had access to this great gym and all these intelligent people, the nutritionists and trainers. So I had all this downtime, and I used to skateboard so much, so many hours per day. I had to have something to fill that void, and I was always athletic and wanting to stay active. So I kind of put my energy into that, and that's how I really started to get into the fitness industry, was through that. And then I've done a couple bodybuilding shows and stuff, and then I did go back to skateboarding, but my knee was never really how it was before, so it was definitely a little bit different. So I transitioned out of that and then more into the fitness industry, but I'm still involved in the skateboarding industry a little bit. There's still companies that put my boards out.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Because you're an artist too.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
speaking of art, okay, so real quick, these, here, what flavor do you want?
Yeah, you guys try
Okay,
whatever
there's
you
chocolate
want.
peanut butter crunch.
Yep.
There is lemon blueberry.
Here, let's
That
pass
sounds
these
Pass
down.
it out, and then
You guys at least
there
look at the
is-
artwork if you
yeah,
don't,
yeah.
if you don't
and
need
then
it.
there's peanut butter pistachio.
Let's see.
But the artwork on these.
Lemon blueberry.
She wants the blueberry. Hold on.
Oh, here you go.
Pass it down.
Yes,
Pass it down.
Thank you.
This is also
So yeah, so this is
Peanut butter pistachio.
I mean, this artwork is amazing. I mean, I would buy these even if I didn't eat protein bars. I would buy it because the artwork is so beautiful.
Yeah, there's a whole story behind that too. So,
and it took you what, 2 years?
well, it's actually been about 3 years to actually get it down right. Because what I wanted to do is there was a couple things I wanted to do. One was really first is I wanted to be able to bring something out that diabetics could eat, but they weren't limited by the taste. Because yeah, you can make something that's good that doesn't raise insulin, but I never felt that the taste was quite right. So that was a struggle going back and forth, trying to get the taste right, and then trying to get the macronutrient numbers right. And then also I was doing a lot of testing with blood glucose monitors to see if it raised your insulin. So I got to the point where I got that down, but I wasn't quite happy with the taste, and I'm just glad I stayed true to what I wanted to do, and finally I got a good balance of taste and then nutrition, and then so people don't have to sacrifice, taste.
Okay, Kimberly, you're not in your head. What do you?
You're like, that's true. Because like you said, I mean, when you usually taste bars, you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I know it's supposed to be good for me, but the taste isn't there.
You're like,
So
boy, it's
that
delightful
counts.
cardboard, right?
Right.
It would be very easy to make one taste really good though, because I could add a lot of unhealthy stuff, and that's simple to do. So that was the struggle. Because really, honestly, I'm a big fan of protein bars, and I've always like, God, that's really good, but it has this little thing missing, or they didn't quite nail it, and that's what kind of got me thinking about, well, maybe I could do this. So, and then as far as the artwork goes, I spent a lot of time in these stores going up and down the aisle. And if you ever saw a protein bar aisle, we all know they're huge. I mean, they're expansive. And I really, as an artist, go down the aisles and I'm looking at all the packaging. And nothing caught my eye. And I was like, if I come up with something, besides the product being good and doing what it's supposed to do, I want the packaging to stick out. And I want people to look at it and say, oh, maybe I'll try this. It's a cool name. It looks cool. But then when they taste it, they're like, okay, this tastes good. And then when they look at the ingredients, then they can say, oh, wow, there's really nothing bad in it. Right. So the art was super important, though. Super important. So I was working with a great artist who's a friend of mine, and it took a lot of time because I wanted to go over the top with the graphics and just make it stick out. Believe it or not, if you go and look at any of the bars, not many of them use a black packaging either. So I thought that was a good start to have it stick out. And then, if you look at, like, say, the lemon blueberry packaging, like even the shadow that the lemon and the blueberry cast on the surface below, I mean, we would go over that stuff for literally weeks at a time, saying, hey, this shadow isn't right. And I kind of
never say to you, it's a protein bar.
Yeah, you know what? Yes, in my mind, that happened to me a few times. Myself was talking to myself, like, are you crazy or what are you doing? But it was worth it. It was worth it in the end. So
that is so
I've got
awesome.
a lot of compliments on the packaging, and a good friend of mine, Marty, who is a great artist. I give him all the credit in the world. And we used to go back and forth many long days, and he's amazing. So, he did a lot of our packaging. He did... this font actually is he made this font, War on Sugar. It was about 2015, because my personal training company is called War Room Nutrition. So he actually invented this font, and we just carried it over for War on Sugar. So yeah, I was very happy with that.
That is so cool. Yeah. Okay, we're going to try these in a little bit, but I wanted to get to...
We get a live reaction.
We're going to get a live reaction. As long as I don't have the chocolate, we'll be okay.
The combination is good
please.
too.
Yeah, you're allergic.
So Kimberly and Emily, he's mentioning art, and I find this so interesting because, I mean, you have your own company, and Emily, you're with the Detroit Zoo, and of course, how we present and the art, right, is so important to our brand, right? So, Kimberly, for you, how was that? I mean, EyeCandy Productions has been in business how long?
12 years.
Okay. And has your brand or your graphics, or has it all evolved through the years?
It has, and we're at the point now, as far as trying to think if we need to refresh our brand, because, I mean, as you know, as time passes, do you want to make a change? So it's like we're trying to do a poll, because a lot of people, we get still a lot of compliments from our logo, from our brand and the naming. And I appreciate that, because I did take time and to,
Did you take 2 years?
No, I think less than that, but still. But yeah, that's very important.
And Emily, what about the zoo? I mean, the zoo thinks about every detail. So for you guys, I know you're with guest experience, but that is part of the guest experience.
Oh, definitely.
Right?
And we in May, we celebrated 1 year of having the new brand since our rebranding. And it was a big change. I think the most visible change of that rebrand was, of course, the iconic water tower.
Yes.
So when that got changed out, but at the same time, we changed our brand across the board. So kind of the logo that you see here on the mug.
On the mug.
Yeah, we moved. We really wanted to move to something that was scalable for digital, because our previous logo had been designed at a time when that wasn't as
a factor,
as front
really,
of mind.
right?
Yeah. And then the other really neat thing about the new logo is we can use the O's as a container, so we can feature different animals or different events that are going on using that logo.
So, how many people gave you pushback about changing this? Because people don't like change.
Well, I think that there's a lot of great nostalgia that comes with, I mean, even, right, your brand that you're saying, people love it.
But like she said, I don't like change. So
Yeah, so you definitely get connected to things, have a lot of emotions around it. One of the great things about the water tower change in particular, because I think that's the one that really, was most visceral for people who drive down the highway and their kids wave to the water tower and that kind of thing, right? One of the things that we have been excited to see is, mostly positive response because they're excited to see the new animals up there, from each different angle.
Right?
Yes. So,
and a lot of people don't know that.
Right. Yeah. So, if you come to the zoo, we actually have a QR code. There's a mini water tower out in front of the zoo, right by the main admission gates. And if you come, you can scan your phone through Snapchat, and the water tower comes to life. So there's an animation that the animals will change, the leaves kind of grow, and it does some really neat stuff as well.
Yeah, so it's funny. So these really hot days, of all the days that my kids ask to go to the zoo,
Yes.
it's like 95 or whatever, and they're like, we want to go to the zoo. I'm like, it's closed.
Oh,
Can't
no.
go. And it's like 10 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, yeah, that's not happening.
We are there with air-conditioned buildings.
Oh,
so,
right.
yes, we do have, want to make sure that folks know we are open year-round at the Detroit Zoo. And one of the great things about the summer is we have misters out. So if you're out walking about, you can be under, get a little damp. Yes, cool off. And then we have many buildings. So, iconically, when you first walk in the Polk Penguin Conservation Center, you can watch the penguins swim in their 45-degree water and, think about how cool that would be.
Exactly.
But
While
you're
you're
standing
like,
in air conditioning. Yes. And then many other buildings. So the Holden Reptile Conservation Center, National Amphibian Conservation Center, as well as in the back of the zoo, the Arctic Ring of Life. You can go through the tunnel and watch the polar bears cooling off in the water.
So that's my favorite part. And most times I'm there, I don't want you to get upset with me, but I don't ever see the polar bear.
Well, and it's a really big habitat, right?
Yes.
And that's one of the things that we are always trying to balance animal welfare, ensuring that, the animals who live at the zoo have plenty of space to roam and exhibit, their natural behaviors. We want them, to make sure that they're doing that and provide them access to cooler spaces.
Right.
So oftentimes in the summer, we say, especially at the lion habitat, they have kind of this rock work, and you'll see them up hanging out in the shaded rockwork, because they're trying to cool off too. And we want to make sure that animals have that choice. One of the neat things about the Arctic Ring of Life, I'll give you an insider tip. If you go in the exploration station, there are actually cameras set up so you can see more of the habitat kind of all at once. So I usually suggest go in there, see if you can find them on the cameras, or oftentimes there's a volunteer or a docent hanging out in that space, and they've kind of been in the space longer, so they can tell you where they're hanging out.
Or whatever.
Yep.
Okay. Good to know. I'm going there today.
Yeah, that's good to know.
I'm like, we're going to the zoo, field trip.
It's too hot today for you.
It is, right? I'm like, okay, where's that? Just carry the mister around.
Yeah.
So, Kimberly, you are a resident. I mean, you grew up in Detroit. You live in Detroit, right? All of that, but you love experiences.
I do.
And that is kind of where EyeCandy Productions all stem from.
Yes. Of course, making memories. That's always the best time to go back, look at pictures, videos, audios, because we even have it where we can, record your guests, leaving you a message.
Really?
Yes. So that's very interactive for the guests. And of course, as you mentioned before, the cookies. We have cookies here. You can do a lot with these.
Right.
And as you see, this is just a scan. You can scan your logo here. And I also have this one looking like a basketball.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's like you can be really creative with this.
So it doesn't have to be just your company logo.
Correct.
Okay.
I mean,
Can you do a coffee cup?
yes.
Oh.
I got you next Yes, I got you next time. And then as we mentioned before, just one of our products that we have. I know before you had the roamer, so
Yes.
you didn't have this kind, but this
No.
one is almost like a personal selfie type
Oh, it looks like
roamer.
the whole mirror on the wall thing, right?
Yes,
I'm
and
like,
then you're able to definitely take pictures. You can take the group pictures, and then able to get it right on the spot.
Really?
So yes.
that is so. How long have you had that? Have you always had that, or when did that come to be?
I had this probably about 8 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All
So the
right.
one that we had at your event, that was a newer one.
Okay.
So yes.
Okay.
yes.
But like I said, it's so funny because you can have a horrible turnout. We had a great turnout that night, by the way. But you can have a horrible turnout, and as long as people can take pictures of themselves,
Yes.
it's okay.
It is, your event is going to be fabulous. You
is,
have
right?
pictures, you have memories,
Exactly.
you're able to open up, have fun. So
Right.
yeah, what can you go wrong with that?
So how? And I know when I initially met your company, it was your
Yes.
niece and nephew, I think, right?
Yes.
So
yes.
is this family run?
It is.
Okay.
It is. Yes, and of course, I always have my trusty family with me in the audience. My parents and my sister. Yes, and I can't forget my husband. He's like behind the scenes, so
Okay.
he's the one that motivates me and pushed me and keep me going.
That is awesome. And Emily, so for the guest experience at the zoo, you always see people. You know, it was one thing that I encountered at Niagara Falls. Carson and I, we were on that boat, and it was so funny because he was not looking. He was taking so many pictures. He was on his phone the whole time. And so after we got off the boat, soaking wet, of course, in our raincoats, he was like, "Mom, I never actually looked at it. I was just too busy taking videos and pictures." And I said, "Well, I know, but you hear about people doing that at concerts,
Yeah.
right? I mean, you are there with your phone and you're just not paying attention to actual event happening." But it was really interesting because he, 13, and he actually realized that and kind of felt a little bit bad. And I said, "Well, I guess you have a lot of videos you can watch if your phone's not ruined because it was soaking wet." He's like, "My Zoom's not working anymore." And I'm like, "Just try it out, put in rice."
Yes. I like that point.
Right?
You,
So,
like
yeah,
you
so
said, you're missing the
you
moment.
miss the moment.
Yeah.
You miss the moment. And I know every time we've been at the zoo, that's what you see, right? You see families and kids running around taking pictures because it's such memories, such great memories.
Yeah, and I mean, you want to take pictures, and we try and kind of pace the experience so that you have the moments to really soak it up and spend time together, and then you have your photo ops, right? So you can still have those things. So, for instance, Dragon Forest is our special exhibition this summer, here through September 7th, and in that we have over 20 animatronic dragons and mythical creatures. And then in addition, we have some climbable sculptures and some more, intentional photo ops where you can gather the family around, get your pictures, but then hopefully you're immersed in this wooded landscape. That's the other cool, when you want to cool off. It's fully shaded going around that trail. And so as you go through that space, like that's our hope, is that you're really spending that time together and you're still getting the photo memories that you want to have as well.
So, Bill, you want to go to the zoo?
Sure. Well, I know you're not going to go unless it's 80 or
20
79.
below. I go in the
Yeah.
winter.
Like, I want to go now.
I know, right? So the Dragon Forest,
Yes.
it looks so amazing. And, it's so funny because How to Train Your Dragon, right? That came out.
It did, yeah.
And actually, I love that movie. I was like, okay, let's go. But I actually was like, oh, Toothless is so cute. I love it, right?
Yes.
So when I heard about this, I was like, oh, we are going to the Dragon Forest, right?
Yes.
So how many dragons are there, you said?
So over 25 of the animatronic pieces, and then we have photo opportunities as well as 4 climbable sculptures of various mythical creatures and dragons, and kind of mixed together. And then there are also some flat panel artworks hidden through the forest. So as you go through, you can, our team at the zoo designed and painted those, so you can go through and look for those.
And you have some
as
special
well.
guests. You had them this last weekend, and you have them coming up, right?
Yes, so Michigan Renfest folks have been out last weekend, and then this coming weekend from 11 to 2 on the weekend, meeting with folks. And it's great to have kind of live actors enhancing the space.
Do they
as
bring
well.
turkey legs with them?
I don't think anyone brought it,
We're like
turkey
munching on the turkey
yes.
leg.
We have other food and dining options that you can have at the zoo.
Well, and then the peacock, right? Is it the peacock that's always wandering around wanting French fries?
So there are peacocks who live at the zoo, and they are free to roam wherever they want on the campus. We do ask that guests not feed them. They are sometimes opportunistic grazers,
Yes.
we would call it. But yes, we do provide them with feed that is nutritionally appropriate, right? We want to make sure that there's nutritionally appropriate offerings for the animals who live there.
Like, listen,
but
man, Buddy's Pizza and a coney, not appropriate
That's
for
right.
them. Stop feeding them.
Yeah.
But it is hilarious because as the kids, obviously the zoo is such a special place. And, the kids have grown, not grown up there, obviously, but we go quite often and it's so funny because they always look for the peacock and they're like, that's going to chase me. And I'm like, well, put your food away then. Stop, But you hear all the kids screaming and following it and then running away. And it's just another part of the experience.
Yeah. And one of the things, in our mission to, connect people and animals and nature, we want to make sure that we're learning how to live amongst animals, right, in an appropriate way as well. And so while the peacocks and even the native animals who come and live at the zoo, so we have Canada geese who come through, or, other animals who you might see roaming around, squirrels. We want to, we're trying to make sure that we have good relationships with those animals too, because we're really sharing this world together. So we want to make sure that we are, forging good relationships in that way.
What is your favorite part about your job?
Oh, my favorite part about my job is seeing families or groups create memories together. It is really, the zoo is there and we have, broad mission related to animals and wildlife, and we want to keep that at the forefront. We are also focused on people. And so for me, my job specifically is really ensuring that we are creating that great experience and making sure that those meaningful connections can continue beyond your visit to the zoo.
That is so awesome. The Dragon Fest, there is a little bit of a cost for that, right?
Yeah, so Dragon Forest is a $6 ticket, which you can purchase on
I
site.
call it Fest. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
It's a Dragon
Ren
Festival.
Fest,
It's happening.
Ren Fest, Dragon Forest. We can celebrate dragons in all ways here. So it is an added ticket, but you can purchase that when you come on site and go through the experience.
Very cool. Okay, so Kimberly, what about you? For you, what is your favorite part of your company and your job?
Like Emily said, just seeing the people smile, the laughter, hearing the giggles, and then pointing at the pictures. I love that.
That is so cool. Okay, Bill, what's your favorite part of the protein aisle? No.
My favorite part of being involved with the protein bars is definitely formulating new products. It's always an idea, and it always morphs into something else, usually. And that something else is where you ended up being what you were supposed to be at that point. So it can start here and be way over there, and it's always seems to work out. So we're working on different products, but I think that's my favorite, is formulating things, because it's tedious, but in the end, it's when it works out, it's really, really enjoyable to start with one idea and then it morphs into something that you never expected, and it ends up always being really cool.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
And I know you're a nutritionist and you help and you train people.
Yes.
So when you see a change in a person, like physically, you also see it mentally.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. That is like one of my rewards, is to see someone change and then see the change in their attitude and all their behaviors. And it's great to see that come to fruition with people. It's really rewarding for me. I really love that part of it.
That is so cool. So Emily, for you, how long have you been with the zoo?
Just over 7 years.
Just over 7 years, she says. I thought you were going to say just over a few months.
No.
So, do you like animals?
Yes.
Yeah.
Love animals.
Do you have to like animals to be at the zoo, to work there?
I think there's a certain affinity, that we would hope, hope folks have. But, and even, yes, my job, as I said, has been focused on people and those interactions. But I recognize that we are in a rare position that if I leave my office, I can walk across and see camels, hanging out and grazing. I can walk and see a lion lounging on a rock. I understand that is a privilege that many people don't get to, experience. And
Perfect view.
Yes, it's a wonderful place to be.
It's a perfect view, huh? Okay, so we have to go to a video in a minute, but I want to try this.
Yes.
I'm hungry. Come on, join me, man. I have to make sure I don't have the chocolate one, though.
I'm gonna go with the peanut butter pistachio. Like, how did you come up with the combination?
Oh, that was just really, it started off that really it was going to be peanut butter at first. And then my formulator, who was great, her name is Kristen, she said, what about maybe throwing pistachio in there? And so I was like, oh, that sounds really good. Let's try it. A lot of times we'll think of something and we try it, doesn't work. That actually worked. So luckily, and that I thought that was a really good combination in the end.
How many different flavors did you try and knock out, and how many did you end up with?
Well, right now we have 3, but I've tried dozens. And some of them, they're harder to make than others because sometimes you'll have to kind of compromise on ingredients and put things that aren't healthy to get a certain taste and flavor. So I'm a little bit more limited because I won't do that. So, but yeah, dozens, dozens. Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
I like this one.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
The peanut butter pistachio. Yes.
I'm chewing, but I love the blueberry lemon one.
Oh, cool. I remember you telling me before that you thought that was going to be your favorite. So.
Yeah. Any new flavors on the horizon?
Actually, we're going to probably start working on some allergy-free bars too. Nice. So different flavors of that. Yeah. And then we're working on a protein cookie. That's going to be, I think, really, really good. I was a fan of a couple other ones, but somewhere along the line, they started to change the ingredients on some of them. I don't know if because the company got sold and they were trying to maybe cut costs, but that really prompted me to like, okay, let's make one with good ingredients. So we're working on that too.
And you know someone who can do your logo on it?
Yeah.
Yes.
That would be cool. Now I do. I know Kim.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we are going to go to this video. So I don't know if you know, but I moderate a lot. I do, I MC, I do all this stuff. And one thing I've never done up until this point was moderate a book panel. So the Center for Financial Planning, they're in Southfield. They were celebrating their 40th year, and they did it with a book tour. So their advisors actually got together and wrote this book. They don't chart. They always laugh and say, "Oh, we didn't become, we're not quitting our day jobs. We're just, so they give this book away." And of course, I forgot mine, but but trust me, I've been reading it because it's chock full of information. And they are just an amazing, amazing organization. So I've done 2 events. The next one is tomorrow, and it's all about legacy. And it's about education and how do you prepare for that. And I actually had a chance to sit down with Bob Ingram for the Center for Financial Planning. So let's watch. Okay, so I am sitting here with Bob Ingram, and he has written chapter 9 in the Finding Your Center book. Of course, they are celebrating their 40th anniversary with this book, and it's so awesome. And Bob, you have a very important topic that you've written about, especially because I have 13-year-old twins, so I'm wondering this very question. How can I pay for college? So where does somebody start in that? That's a big question.
It is. It is. Well, really, it comes back to start with what's the most important thing. And it really depends. It's such a big goal for, of course, like you mentioned, for most families or many, many families.
Right, for sure.
And it's one of the largest goals and investments people might make.
Mm-hmm.
Paying for college might be second or even more than someone's first home that
Really?
they purchased.
Okay.
So next to retirement in a home, it may be the largest investment. So the goal, of course, is to look at, well, what is it you're trying to, what kind of education?
I was just
for
going
the
to ask
twins,
you, right?
say,
So
for
what if you have a child, but you don't know? You have no idea where they're going to want to go or study, but you have to have a plan.
All right. Well, and so based on age, so let's use ages as a great way to think about that. So as kids are just born, in the first few years, toddlers to elementary school, you might have a sense of
Right.
them being, smart and have the opportunity to be educated, but we don't really know.
Mm-hmm.
So it starts with having at least a baseline of, well, what kinds of educations, might we want to at least start with?
Mm-hmm.
Is it something that's 2-year college for an associate's degree versus a 4-year college?
Mm-hmm.
Is it a public university, let's say here in the state of Michigan? Is it a private college or university? And all those have different, of course, benefits and advantages, disadvantages,
Right.
and also different costs.
Yes.
So start with that and get a sense for, well, what might those different costs look like today?
Mm-hmm.
Now the question is, well, what might they look like when
Mm-hmm.
our young ones are actually at college age?
Right.
And we can kind of do some basic math and
Okay.
inflation and kind of project out what those costs would be. It can sometimes be a little bit eye-opening for many people.
Sure. I'm like, I don't even want to know those costs.
Right. But that's really just a place to start and kind of getting a sense. And then, of course, as the children grow older, get into a place where maybe you have a better idea. Is college, a reality? Is it realistic? What kind of schools? Is there the potential that there might be, academic scholarships or other types of opportunities?
So you can kind of have that in the back of your mind, I guess.
Yeah,
right?
you certainly,
Okay.
you certainly
You can't
could.
bank on it.
Exactly, and that's that slippery slope of saying, well,
There's scholarships.
my son or daughter is the smartest, best athlete.
Right.
Of course, they're probably great,
Right.
but we don't necessarily know that that's going to play out as far as what that means for a college scholarship. So
Okay.
having a plan for what could be possible if that does not happen,
Mhm.
or maybe it's not a full scholarship, but there's some type of merit-based aid and things. Start there, and then you can kind of plan along the way.
So what the one recurring theme I've heard all of you say is that a plan is better than no plan.
Correct.
Okay.
Right.
So as long as, if somebody's putting away money and they may not have all those factors in place, but at least there's something that their kid will be like, oh, well, I've got, $2,000 to go to college,
Sure.
but it's 2,000 more than what they had.
Absolutely.
Right. So
Sure.
something is better than nothing.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
And just doing even a little bit of savings in, like we say, when is it the right time, or is it too soon or too late? Again, cliche a little
It's
bit. Never too late.
late.
But it's also may not be too early to start, even when, a newborn happens. A lot of times, what are some common gifts we see a lot of
Right.
family get? Starting a college fund
Yeah.
or savings to go to college. Now, where you might save for that, not knowing how much might be needed, keep it flexible. So there's different choices, different options when you build your
And aren't
college
there
funding plan.
educational, I think the state even has something.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
So, parents or grandparent, anyone can throw money into that account.
Yeah, there are college savings plans
Okay.
that you can contribute to. Grandparents can contribute to. Family, anyone can contribute to, as well as, of course, parents and even the students.
Right.
But in addition to that, there are some state plans, like Michigan has one that has things as specific as prepaid tuition plans, where you're not
Right.
saving and building an investment portfolio, let's say, to use to pay for college. You're actually prepaying tuition credits that you'll use in the future.
Really?
Yeah.
That is crazy.
It is a good it can
It
be a
is.
good opportunity. There can also be some drawbacks. It may not be as flexible.
I was just, okay, so what if somebody invests in that, but then the kid doesn't go to college?
There can be some challenges of the value you get back may not be what you expect. It may
Okay.
not be the same for every type of school, maybe certain credit values and things. So
Right, for
there's
sure.
some complexity there. So
Okay.
when we talk with clients that ask about that, and say, well, does it make sense to do a prepaid tuition plan? There's a lot more questions, a lot of what ifs. What would you want to see happen if this, and this?
didn't. Okay.
Big difference whether, privates, they're intended to go to a public university or school versus private.
Right.
A lot of questions there. So
Okay.
more variables has value, but again, it's one of the options to be able to go through.
And obviously you get, when you stay in state, I think there's discounts, right? There's so many, like you said, there's so many options and so many questions, but you can answer all those.
We can at least try. We can ask the questions to get you thinking. That's the
Okay.
first and most important, again, is to kind of start thinking what are the priorities, and then what are the questions to ask. A lot of times in many areas of financial planning, you probably will hear, you don't necessarily know what you don't know. So you don't necessarily know what to ask. So
Right.
having those conversations could be some of the most valuable parts of starting that plan process.
Okay, so what about legacy, legacy planning and all? There's a couple different themes, and so first of all, what does legacy mean?
Yeah. Legacy, think of it as, what do you want to see your life mean to you, to yourself, to your family, to your loved ones?
What you're leaving behind?
and to the world.
Okay.
Yeah. It starts with what kind of an impact do you want to make on the world around you while you're living.
Okay.
So it could be part of your life plan.
Right.
And then, of course, planning for what happens if, the what if the unexpected happens and you pass away unexpectedly.
Right.
What would you want to see at the end of your life? And what would you want to leave in the end? So how do you have a plan for, I'd like to see my intentions fulfilled and what needs to happen? And without a good estate plan, so it starts with estate planning, legal documents.
Okay.
And then also, how do you start positioning, financial strategies that can make the most impact, that can deal with things such as, you can't avoid taxes. Taxes shouldn't be the only decision, and it shouldn't be the
Right.
main controlling factor. But many financial decisions, the reality is there's a tax component usually involved.
Okay.
So having, strategies around tax
Because
efficient
there's
ways.
gifting, I don't know all the phrases, but it's like inheritance tax. I mean, there's so much around it, right?
Absolutely. Right. We think of things like, well, estate tax or gifting tax, but then there's also income tax and capital gains tax on property, that's ultimately inherited or sold as part of someone's estate or legacy. So there's a lot of those tax ramifications and different things to kind of navigate that.
And you do all that.
We do. We do. And of course, working with other professionals. So developing an estate plan, really recommend if you're doing your legal documents, work hand in hand with a good estate planning attorney, credentialed, that's expert in that field of law. And then as well as the tax professionals, whether it's CPA or your individual tax preparer, having some of those discussions around those professionals, we think of ourselves as kind of the central part of that team,
right?
Of professionals.
So if somebody called you and they wanted to come to the Center for Financial Planning, but they didn't have an estate plan in place, I mean, that is all something that you can help with.
We can at least help facilitate
it.
Have the conversations, maybe ask some of
Point
those
them in the right
questions,
direction.
pointing them in the right direction, and if it means going down the road of doing a formal estate plan, we would certainly either recommend or we have resources and a network of folks that we can share that do that work and have done very well.
Right. Well, so I think that what is so special about you guys, and obviously you've been around 40 years, but the whole idea of if you don't know it or if it's not your expertise, you guys are going to bring somebody else in.
Absolutely.
And that is what's so important, especially when we're talking about life savings and retirement longevity and legacy and all of this.
I mean, that's really one of the things we pride ourselves at the center on is having resources, our own deep expertise with even members of our team that have specialty areas and that, but then also beyond the core financial planning and wealth management, those other resources, even to the point of being able to recommend if someone needs something with a real estate transaction, different specialties in law, lending and mortgage lending, all different parts, questions of people's lives and financial lives. We would be able to bring or at least recommend some resources and point them in the right direction that way.
And I think that's probably what set you guys apart, right?
Yeah, we really feel that's. I mean, the value of what we look at as financial planning is really there's so many different elements of one's financial life, financial decisions. They're not made in a vacuum. We believe that they're integrated.
And it can all change. We've known that, right?
Absolutely. That's why a plan is a great thing. You might have a piece of paper, a document, but that's no good because the next day things can change.
Are all done.
It's ongoing. It's really a living document. And that's why we regularly review and update.
And you guys do review things, once a year at least?
At least annually to do a full review and also to be looking strategically on how to think about going forward. It's one thing to do a review of what's happened in the last year, but it's about what happens going forward.
The
vision,
next
year, 5 years, 10 years, and so forth. Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
So one piece of advice that you can give everyone when it comes to not panicking about planning for that college education?
So while it's very difficult especially for college, number one, try to not be overwhelmed because it is. The reality is it can be an overwhelming subject and to think about. But start with just asking those questions. Don't even think about where you're starting from.
Okay.
How many resources have you saved so far? What's your financial just what is it you'd like to be able to do? And then the question is, okay, what does that look like? What's the reality? What are the different options? Because you'll always have options.
Okay.
And some options might be a little better, that you might like those a little better. There might be the ABC options.
Sure.
But you have different options and
but
levers.
Z is available.
It is available in most cases.
Right.
And at least then you can approach, well, what do I need to do now given, what I'm trying to do, what the reality is, and then how best to get there.
And again, I appreciate you guys, really doing this book tour with you. It is, I've learned so much personally, so thank you for that. Number one, but number two, this is such a great resource that you guys have put together. And again, you've written chapter 9, and there is so many, this is a wealth of knowledge that people need to take advantage of. And of course, you guys are giving it away.
We are. Right. So come to some of our upcoming events. Of course, we have our next panel conversation.
I'm excited
with
about that.
us,
You guys throw a great party, so I'm excited about
July
that.
15th at
Excellent.
Bloomfield Library.
Okay.
And then
12:30, right?
Yep.
Okay.
exactly.
All right. Good. I'll show up on
12:30
time.
PM. And then the following week, the 22nd and 23rd, we'll have some educational sessions in the evening, same place at Bloomfield.
And
Hills
you'll
Library.
be doing both of those, or?
I'll be doing the first one on protecting your legacy, the concept of estate planning, and then my colleague Lauren Adams will be talking about more of some of the tax strategies and taking a little bit of a deeper dive in some of the areas that we'll cover in legacy planning around protecting your legacy and how that fits in with some of the planning strategies.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And again, no need for panic.
No need for panic, but don't be afraid to get started and at least start asking those questions.
Okay. Thanks so much.
You're very welcome.
right.
Thank you.
Thank you. I got to get back to reading now.
Good. I'll let you do that.
And again, that was Bob Ingram, and we will be at the Bloomfield Township Library tomorrow. The event starts at noon, and it goes until 1:30. I believe there's lunch involved. They know how to throw a party there. So please join us. You can find all the information on centerfinplan.com if you want to register or if you just want to show up. Well, I mentioned that they throw a good party. We actually throw a good party here, too, during... because we have a live audience and because people interact and everything. So look, the protein bars, they're almost gone. And as you can see, we've all changed positions because we were taking selfies on the couch, right? So so much fun. So I still like mirror, mirror on the wall, right? It's like, oh my gosh, don't answer that, please. So thank you guys all for being here today. And I can't wait to take the kids to the zoo for the dragons. Of course, we'll see you, Kimberly, on the 30th. Yes, we'll be at the Cambria Detroit Hotel at the rooftop bar, weather permitting. Please, weather permit.
Okay.
And Bill, of course, the protein bars are a big smash here. But
Thank
okay,
you.
so I have a couple more questions to ask you. You think you're off the hook. You're not yet. Okay, so I asked you at the beginning about bad habits. Anything anyone wants to disclose as far as bad habit that you would drop if you were so inclined? Go ahead, Kimberly. You go
Oh,
first.
my goodness. Okay. For me, and I was thinking about it, not to make excuses of not going to the gym.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right.
That's
Okay.
a good one. That's a great
And
one.
how about you, Emily?
I will say putting away laundry as soon as it comes out of the dryer.
Oh, I'm right there with you,
huge.
man.
Yeah.
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 I'm
a
feeling
good
that
one.
today. All right, Bill.
I would say stop making excuses to find time to relax more.
Oh,
But
okay.
I like that one because I
you
know
relax
exactly
and
what you're
fold
talking
laundry at
about.
the same time?
I'm that to hear that when the dryer stops,
Yes.
it's like it's almost like hearing your alarm go off. I'm like, I gotta get there because it's gonna wrinkle. I'm like kind of weird about that. I don't like wrinkles, so
Oh, so
soon
you
as
fold
that-
it immediately?
well, yes, reluctantly.
Really?
I do.
Oh, I
I've
give
been
you
forcing myself to do it. Yeah,
Oh, that's fantastic.
but that's a great one, Emily.
I like
that's
that one.
that's awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say ditto to
Okay,
that.
well,
okay.
yeah.
All right. So ditto to that.
We can try and hold each other
Yeah,
accountable.
exactly.
you
Yeah.
know?
I'll text you and like, did your buzzer go off yet? Mine just did. I'm not folding it.
Yeah.
I'm having a cup of coffee. Okay. So another question, and Emily, we'll start with you.
Okay.
So if you were able to meet your younger self for coffee, what would you tell her?
Ooh. I would tell her that it's not going to go how you think it will go, but it's going to be great.
I love that. I love that. Bill?
I would say I would tell myself when a problem or dilemma comes up, don't make it out to be something so terrible because most of the time it isn't. So I would say give myself more patience and not jump to conclusions. Yeah, and don't try to control things that you can't control.
See, that's a hard lesson.
Yeah,
It is.
Right?
it
I
is.
try to teach my kids that,
Yeah.
but even I don't know that lesson sometimes because you're like, ah! And then it's like, oh, I'm good. We can't control it. Yes, we can, but it goes back and forth. And that's something, in retrospect, of course, it's like, okay, well, I got this now, but when I'm 13 or 16 or in college, all of a sudden you're like, oh, I don't understand what's happening. Why can't I control this? Right? But I'm a type B. I don't know. What personality type are you?
You know what? I don't know.
I bet you're
Probably
type
a
A.
mix, I'd say.
No, you think he's a
Yeah.
type A? If you think Bill's a type A, raise your hand.
1, 2, 3, quite a few.
How about you, Emily? What
people
type
out
are
there.
you?
I'll join with Belle. I'm type A.
Type
Right,
A. Okay,
okay.
Kimberly.
I have no idea. I don't know.
I bet you're a type B like me, right? So I don't know.
I think so. We vibe very
We
well.
vibe, right? It's the whole creative thing. Not that you're not creative, because you're an artist and you're, I mean, but it's the whole thing, right? It's like deadlines I thrive on just because of the news business.
Yeah.
But do I like to look at squirrels? Yes. Yes. Okay, Kimberly. So if you met yourself, your younger self for coffee, what would you tell her?
I would tell her, don't think you can't do anything. Give yourself a chance. Don't cancel yourself out and try.
I love that. That is awesome. Well, thank you guys all. Bill, give me your website, because you can order these.
Yes,
How do
directly
people find
from
these?
us.
Okay.
So waronsugar.com.
Let me do my Vanna White.
Yep. Our bars are available, also some clothing and things like that. So waronsugar.com, and then on Instagram it's at waronsugarbar, and same as Facebook, at waronsugarbar.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So get those protein bars. We'll be looking forward to the cookie when that comes out.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay. And Emily, Dragon, it runs for a while.
Yes, so Dragon Forest runs through September 7th, and if folks want to go to DetroitZoo.org, you can see that we have events all summer. So in addition, we've brought back our summer concert series through August, so that's late nights on Wednesdays. This Friday we have Summer Sips coming up, which is our 21 plus event for the summer.
Is that sold out, or?
It is not, so you can still get tickets now.
Okay.
But we do usually come close to selling out if we don't. The day before or so. So I would say hop online and get tickets. And then we also have a Charlie Harper art exhibit through September 7th as well. So we're running kind of our summer experiences through then.
Okay, love that. And don't forget to, scan the water tower? I mean, these to make it interactive.
Yes, if you go, there's a mini version of the water tower. So go right there, and we have the QR code that you can scan and face your phone up to the big water tower and see that come to life.
It all comes to life. So amazing.
Yes. Yep.
Okay, Kimberly, of course, wedding season, baby showers, graduation, still graduation, right? So, but you still have availability for maybe a little?
Yes,
maybe,
we
sort of?
do. I do still have, people at the last minute.
What is your busiest time?
Oh my God, like now.
It is, okay.
Now until November, December, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so how do people find you?
On Instagram, we are EyeCandy Photo Booth. So that's EYE, Candy Photo Booth. And then Facebook, EyeCandy Productions. And our website is iCphotobooth.com. That's EYEC, photobooth.com.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay. So if you want your selfie, if you want to see the animals, if you want a protein bar, check all of them out. Thank you all so much for joining us. Of course, we have so many events coming up. So please check out helloimbrooke.com. You can see everywhere that I'm going to be. Of course, the big event coming up is July 30th. You're all invited, everyone here, for the Cambria Detroit. We are going to be at CeeLo, the rooftop bar. I'm so excited. Our After Dark finally coming back, and it's going to be a great time. And of course, you'll be able to take your selfie there too, right?
We'll be in the house.
Yeah, so smile pretty. But thank you all so much. And thank you all. Stay cool out there. But like I always say, keep the coffee hot. We'll see you next week. Thanks. Bye-bye.